have to decide first what we mean by capitalism and what we mean by democracy. If we mean by democracy that citizens have a equal share in participating in determining decisions that affect the society, then capitalism in any form is inconsistent with democracy, because it radically, in most forms I should say, there is a form of capitalism which could be consistent with democracy. It's the kind that Adam Smith advocated. Adam Smith was in favor of equality of outcome. In fact, one of his main arguments for markets is that under conditions of pure liberty, they will lead to equality. It's not a good argument, but that was the argument. If that could happen, which it can't, then you could say, yes, possibly it's consistent with democracy. Otherwise, capitalism is any form of really existing capitalism, or that's likely to exist, will have sharp inequalities. It's based on hierarchy, domination, production for profit, not need, accumulation of capital, deprivation of others, subordination of people who have to sell their labor in order to survive. And of course, that's going to translate automatically into any political arrangement, which will yield one or another form of plutocracy. We happen to have a pretty extreme form right now. So for example, right now in the United States, about roughly 70% of the population, lower 70% on the income scale, have no influence whatsoever on policy. Influence increases slowly as you move up the scale. At the very top, the question doesn't arise because they set the policy. So that's it's democracy in the sense you're allowed to push a button every couple of years, but it's a choice between factions of a business party with extremely enormous disparity of influence over policy. You can see that very clearly. You can see it just by, in fact, it's one of the main topics studied in professional political science. You just compare polling results on attitudes with policy. So, for example, just to pick one, for about 40 years now, there have been regular polls asking people, what do they think about tax policy? And large majorities are in favor of much higher taxes on the rich and on the corporate system. Policy goes the opposite direction. And the same is true on minimum wage, on national health, just about any topic you look at. There's a huge divergence. And that simply reflects the fact that capitalism, in anything like the form we have at least, is inconsistent with democracy. And you can see why virtually any quasi-capitalist arrangement would have similar problems. So the conclusion is the opposite of what Friedman says. Of course, he must mean something different by democracy. He may mean the right to push a button every 4 years.